Welcome to the Business Show, the place where business minds share their biggest highs, toughest lows, and everything in between. Join us as we dive into the journey of entrepreneurs, uncovering the stories, secrets, and strategies that build their
where we spotlight
success.
exciting student ventures and explore how bright ideas become successful businesses. I'm Ahmed.
And I'm Tavisha. Today we're joined by Parth, the founder of a 3D printing business that's redefining how designs and prototypes come to life. We'll be asking about the inspiration, the technology, and what it takes to build a startup in today's fast-moving world. Parth, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Okay, so getting started, can you just introduce yourself and tell us what your business is all about?
Okay, so I'm Parth. My business is a 3D printing business. The specifics of the business involve taking orders from masses of people and creating them on a 3D printer. 3D printers are like magic. They almost create things out of thin air, and it's really interesting to watch for the first time. So the inspiration for this business generally came from the fact that I myself wanted to make something, some project of mine which I was not able to do because I did not have a 3D printer. Then my uncle gifted me a 3D printer for my birthday, and I thought, why not spread the love and let everyone use it, and hence started a business for it.
That's very inspirational. So for someone using your service for the first time, how would you describe the experience of turning the design into a tangible product? Do they give you the design, or do they tell you what to make and what to print?
Actually, both are viable options for the engineers out there. We can print their designs because each engineer who's working has a different idea of what they want. But for the common person who doesn't understand how 3D modeling works or other using complicated softwares, they can ask us and we can design and print for them to whatever specifics they require.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you got your first 3D printed gifted by your grandpa. What was your very first prototype like? Who was the first person to try it? What did you do with it?
So in the 3D printing world, there's a specific first model you try. It's at the moment superstition, but it's supposed to give you luck. So it's a tiny boat that they always have you build. But other than that, my first model was I automated my telescope, which I have. I printed gears and put electronics in it so it could track the stars.
That's really interesting.
So were there any services or features that didn't work out the way you expected with customers?
3D printing is a slow process and it takes time. So it would take, say, about a day for me to receive the order and print it, which was a bit slow for me. However, we have slowly worked through this by increasing some parameters and speeding the process up, essentially.
Yeah.
So with your business, how do you approach pricing and accessibility? How do you make sure that like your target customers can access your business and essentially afford it?
For affordability, currently we're going on a cost plus basis. So whatever it costs us to make the product, we add on a certain margin and we price it at that price point. Since each product is unique, this process has to be repeated for every single product that we make. So hence I've automated the process, and there's a specific software that I use where I just plug in everything and it pops out how much I have to charge.
That sounds great.
Let's dive into the tech. What makes your 3D business unique compared to others?
So usually for other 3D printing businesses, they're not located in the UAE. They're located very far away, mostly in China and the United States. The problem with these businesses is when you order something, their queues are huge. They take a month to even start making your product, and when they do make your product, it takes them a month to ship it to you. So you order something and an idea that was, you got an idea in the morning, you decided to make it, and you sent it to making. 2 months later, it arrives at your doorstep and you have no idea what it is. So speed was a big issue. And other than that, a local 3D printing business would also affect the engineers here in the UAE, because UAE's manufacturing market is essentially non-existent at the moment.
Yeah, of course. So far, what kind of challenges have you faced in your business, like trying to set it up, in terms of like machinery, materials? What have you really faced so far?
So first would be technical expertise because a 3D printer has about 400 parameters that need to be set by the person, and it takes forever to learn what each parameter does. So that took a bit. But after I figured out the technical aspects, we were facing a few challenges on the business side. We were a few lack of orders before we changed our structure and allowed for more people to purchase.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you see your business working alongside designers and engineers? You mentioned you do 3D print for engineers, so does that replace certain processes or act as support?
So the main goal of 3D printing is for prototyping. It allows engineers specifically to test their products and test their ideas before launching. Prototyping is a long and irritating process without 3D printing because each individual part is expensive if made in through traditional methods. So traditional methods would involve you buy a huge machine, you you buy a mold. The mold itself costs $50,000. So it's extremely expensive, and you don't even know at that point if it works. Hence, 3D printing can help rapid prototyping. 3D printing can also create unique and interesting looking shapes and products from for the normal customer that are not for prototyping, and these products are what we aim to sell as well to normal customers and not engineers.
That sounds amazing. So, do you run most of the operations yourself, or do you have a team alongside you?
I have we're a two-man job. We both currently own 3D printers, and they have different specialties. So mine's a bit bigger and it can make bigger things, and my friend's is enclosed so it can make more smaller and complicated objects.
So from a business perspective, how costly is it to run and maintain your 3D printers, and how do you keep it sustainable?
As I said, this is a very long and very irritating, complicated process, and the first thing I did before even starting my business was to figure out the pricing structure. So the pricing structure I made involves all maintenance and electricity costs. Everything is included in the structure. We took the government rate of electricity and government rate of power that is required to run the machine, and we've added everything onto that to make sure our costs are all covered.
Okay. That sounds very detailed.
Yeah, it sounds like you have all your bases covered. So, talking in terms of customers, what does your customer base look like right now? Have you landed customers? Or are you still in, testing phases with your business? Tell us more about that.
So we have recently finished our testing phase and finalized our business structure. We will soon be moving into selling into school markets at the moment, and we've already received few orders from engineers.
That sounds great.
So have you already made some products for customers in the school, or?
So I have designed several products myself. However, because the 3D printing is a pretty large community at this point, there are actually many models that are already available to just download and print.
Okay, that's great. So far, how important has social media been in growing your business, and how do you plan to utilize it more in the future? Because you said now that you're out of testing phase, how do you plan to implement it and use it to your advantage?
So again, me and my partner are both, again, horrible at social media. We physically cannot maintain an Instagram. So we've actually been avoiding social media till this point. However, we are planning to start. We have a massive following on LinkedIn, of all places, and are looking to expand into social media. Social media is new for both of us.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's good to learn new things and so you can expand your business. So what kind of feedback have you received from either your partner or from clients about these products?
Clients specifically has mostly been engineers at this point, and engineers, their designs that they give us, we've printed for them. So the thing with those designs is that they half the time do not work, and then the engineer makes a revision and comes back to us. So the current feedback has been that speed wasn't high enough, which we've obviously been working on fixing.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's get to a hypothetical situation. If you were given 5,000 dirhams to reinvest tomorrow, where would you put it? Where would you put it into your business? What specifically would you go out and do?
Again, I'd buy better and more technical machinery that allows me to print more exotic and stronger materials. This would allow me to appeal to more larger number of people in general. Yeah, essentially, bigger machine.
So you mentioned once again for your engineers, they come back to you after revisions. So do your other clients, is it a one-off project for them or a long-term prototyping? How many clients have you had for these?
Currently, not many. I think we're at 5, maybe 6 clients. 3 of them are engineers. So for the engineers specifically, they wanted to prototype for a drone project. Specifically, I'll give you an example, one of them. They were making a drone and they had a startup for a drone, which they sold for $500,000 last month. So this engineer wanted to prototype his drone project with us. So he gave us a file, we printed it, we gave it to him, he paid us for the file. Then he would test it and figure out that, oh no, I did this wrong and it wouldn't work. He would come back to us, we would talk to him, figure out what went wrong, what he needed changed from us. We would print another product for him and he would take it until his product worked. For the normal person, this is obviously not required because they're not rapidly prototyping anything. If they are, then they go into the engineers category automatically. However, if they're not, then it can be a one-off thing if they want to, but however, if they want more products, obviously they can purchase.
Yeah, definitely.
Sounds like you have all your bases covered with your customers. So, in terms of GEMS Metropole and the Think Business aiding your startup, how do you see 3D printing being implemented within your school within the next couple of years? Do you plan to continue holding the business within Think Business, or do you plan to expand it?
Expanding would obviously be really nice, and to appeal to a larger host of schools would be amazing. But currently, we do not have the amount of customers that we require to expand into other and future markets. So currently, we'll be targeting school teachers for office supplies and other personalized objects, and targeting year 7 and 8 students, allowing them to purchase stationery and other school objects from us.
Sounds like an amazing startup, and good luck for your future. Parth, thank you so much for sharing your journey. It's been inspiring to see how 3D printing businesses combines with technology and creativity to make a real impact.
And that's it for today's episode of the Business and Enterprise Pod. Don't forget to subscribe and share this with anyone who's curious about entrepreneurship or the future of manufacturing. Join us next time as we meet another inspiring founder. Until then, stay creative, stay ambitious, and keep building.
Remember, every great business started with a single step and maybe a little inspiration along the way. Catch us next time where another entrepreneur reveals the highs and lows of their business journey.